Coates hoping to blast it in, and Coates has done it! Ralph Coates!
Some names were made for chaos, others for control, for the pass before the pass, for the game before the glory. Ralph Coates was one of those names. He didn't dribble past history. He worked through it, shifted between shadows. Until one day, he owned the light. No armband, no roar, just a low left foot strike at Wembley. The kind of goal that ends finals. The kind of goal that makes legends, without a single scream. He didn't play for moments, he played for teams, for Burnley, for Spurs, for something older than applause. He wasn't the headline, he was the silence holding it up. He didn't need fame. He had Wembley. Subscribe if loyalty, memory, and legacy still matter, because the men who never asked to be remembered are the reason we still do. Ralph Coates was born on 26 April 1946 in Hetton-le-Hall, County Durham, a town built on coal, a life built on grit. He was the son of a miner, a boy raised between shifts and smoke. Before football, he worked as a colliery fitter's apprentice, handling metal, not medals. There were no dreams of Wembley, just the sound of boots on black gravel, the rhythm of work, the silence of expectation. He played where the ground was cracked, where tackles hurt, where the ball didn't bounce, it stopped and waited. But even in the quiet, something moved. He wasn't fast, he wasn't loud, but his timing was perfect. And then came Jack Hickson, a scout with an eye for the rare. The same man who would later find Alan Shearer. This time he found Ralph. No flash, no drama, just calm in chaos. Burnley gave him a chance. He took it, not with noise, but with presence. From Hetton's coal dust to Burnley's green, he never changed his boots. Only the color of the mud. He arrived without noise, without headlines, just a quiet transfer of boots, from Durham to Burnley. 1963. Ralph signed professional terms. Burnley didn't buy stars, they built them. And Ralph fit perfectly. No demands, no fuss, just training, just trust. He made his first team debut in December 1964, faced Manchester United, didn't flinch. By March 1965, he had scored his first goal, but he didn't celebrate like a star. He never did. What followed was nearly a decade of loyalty, over 260 appearances, more than 30 goals. But stats never told the story. He wasn't the flash, he was the glue. A midfielder who moved like silence until he struck like steel. Burnley loved him. The fans, the staff, the dressing room. Because he never changed. Even when offers came, he stayed. Until 1971, when Burnley were relegated, and the quiet loyalty broke into a goodbye. It wasn't betrayal, it was timing. It was Tottenham. But at Turf Moor, they never stopped calling him one of their own. Because some players leave, others stay, even after they're gone. 1971. Tottenham called. And for 190,000, Ralph Coates stepped out of Turf Moor and into the spotlight. White Hart Lane was no small stage. This was London. Lights, pressure, names in marble, Greaves, Gilzean, Chivers, Perryman. It wasn't just a team, it was a gallery of giants. And Ralph arrived with quiet boots and northern silence. At Burnley, he led. At Spurs, he watched. And at first, it didn't fit. They stuck him wide. He wasn't wide. He was patient. He was central. He was rhythm, not sprint. The crowd wanted fire. He gave them control. So he asked, not to leave, but to move. Not from the club, but from the touchline. Into the middle, into the flow. And when they let him play where he saw the game, he gave them the version they hadn't known they needed. Not a flash, not a roar, but a pause, a pass. A moment of calm in a team of storms. He wouldn't be the loudest. He wouldn't be the first picked on the team sheet. But one day, he'd write the moment no one else could. 24th of February, 1973. League Cup Final. Tottenham versus Norwich City. Wembley. Coates was fit. Almost. Not fully. Just enough. But not enough to start. He was dropped. John Pratt got the nod. Ralph watched from the bench. Quiet. Unreadable. Minutes passed. Tension grew. And then, the change. Coates was called. Subbed in. No warm-up. No panic. Just Ralph. The ball came in from a long throw. Gilzean flicked it on. Ralph stepped into the path. No angle, no time, just instinct. Left foot, Low, precise, bottom corner. Wembley didn't explode. It inhaled. And in that breath, Ralph Coates became part of history. He didn't jump the hoardings. He didn't tear off his shirt. He turned, jogged back, as if he'd done it before, as if that goal had been waiting for him all his life. 1-0, final score. Spurs lifted the cup, and the man who wasn't meant to start ended it. Some players chase the big stage, others wait for it to need them. That day, Wembley needed Ralph Coates, and he answered without a sound. He wore the England shirt, but only 4 times, one of the best passers in the First Division, one of the calmest minds under pressure, still just 4. His debut came in 1970 at Wembley against Northern Ireland. No nerves, no fear, just Ralph. Then came Greece, Malta, Wales, and then silence. Not because he failed, but because the room was crowded. Ball, Peters, Bell, Hudson, midfield royalty, names already inked into headlines. Coates was there, training, waiting, delivering. But when the World Cup came, he was cut. 1970. Mexico. He was on the long list. Not the plane, no complaints, no tantrums, just training the next day. He never begged for caps. He never needed a badge to prove he belonged. He had Wembley. He had Burnley's love. He had Spurs' trust. And even without 50 appearances, he wore the 3 lions with more grace than most who did. Because some players measure their career in call-ups. Ralph measured his in consistency. He didn't get the headlines. He made the team better. And if that's all England took from him, it was still enough. By 1978, the roar had softened. The legs still moved, but the headlines didn't. So Ralph went where football still felt honest. St. George Saints, Australia, 11 games, 3 goals. Different sun, same silence, no ego tour, no fading star routine, just boots, just football, always the same. Then back to England. Leyton Orient, from White Hart Lane to Brisbane Road. And he didn't flinch. He gave them 3 years, 76 league appearances, 12 goals. And when his legs slowed, his eyes didn't. They made him a coach. Because he saw things others didn't, and said things no one else could say, with fewer words. He played, he taught, he stayed. Lower leagues, non-league, Ware, Hertford Heath, nazying. He never needed a crowd, just a pitch. Some men disappear when the top level ends. Ralph just kept showing up. Because the game wasn't something he did. It was something he honored. When the final whistle blew, Ralph didn't chase fame. He went to work, not on television, not in headlines, in life. He became a travel agent, handled bookings, sorted holidays, spoke with fans, like people, not admirers. Later, he managed leisure centers, Chelmsford, Borehamwood, no VIP pass, no golden chair, just Ralph, just reliable. But football never let go. And neither did he. For over 20 years, he served as a matchday host at Tottenham, shook hands, told stories, made strangers feel like part of the club. He worked with disabled children, coaching without cameras, without credit, because that's who he was. He didn't need to be seen. He needed to give back. 2 marriages, a son, a daughter, family held quietly like everything else. He voted Labour, believed in workers. Because that's where he came from, and who he always remained. When the boots were hung up, he didn't build a brand. He built trust, time, and a life. Some men leave football. Some men carry it with them everywhere they go. December 2010. Ralph Coates suffered a stroke, then another, and then he was gone, 64 years old. He died in Luton quietly as he lived, no fanfare, no final tour. But the tributes came like a storm. Burnley mourned, Tottenham wept, Leyton Orient remembered, because everyone who played with him knew what they'd lost. Not a star, not a captain, something rarer, a man who made football better by expecting nothing from it. Just months before his death, Spurs had done what needed to be done. They inducted him into the Tottenham Hotspur Hall of Fame. No speeches, no ego, just Ralph. Finally honored. He left no monument, but left behind something greater. A moment, a memory. A match forever changed by one man's left foot. Remember Coates? Wembley. That goal. Because in football, the loudest names fade, but the honest ones echo. And Ralph Coates never had to ask to be remembered. Subscribe if you believe quiet men still deserve thunder, because legends like this don't come back. They live in memory, or they vanish.